This is part 2 of our list on the 10 empires that came the closest to world domination. If you haven't seen the first part, we highly recommend that you check it out first. If you've already seen part 1, stay tuned for the second part of the 10 empires that came the closest to world domination. Number 5 is the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire was a Turkish empire that ruled over the Middle East, North Africa, Turkey, and the Balkans. Throughout its life, the Ottoman Empire routinely conquered countless kingdoms and countries. Perhaps their crowning achievement was the destruction of the Byzantine Empire in 1453, which finally brought an end to what remained of the once great Roman Empire. What made the Ottoman Empire unique was its talent for managing and overcoming the deep ethnic differences in the Middle East and in the Balkans. This in and of itself was a major achievement, as few empires in history have maintained control over such a bitterly divided region, let alone for centuries as the Ottomans did. The Ottoman Empire was so powerful and so perfectly poised for world conquest that it even came close to conquering the European city of Vienna in 1683, which is located deep in the heart of Europe. The Ottoman conquest of Vienna was only averted at the last second when a Polish relief force arrived just before the city fell, and the siege was broken after the Ottoman army was routed. If the siege of Vienna had gone in the Ottomans' favor, it is very likely that much of Europe could have fallen under their dominion. And, as mentioned previously, the Ottoman Empire was very talented at administering a multiracial empire, which would have proven very helpful if they had been able to expand into Europe. Instead, at its greatest height, the Ottoman Empire only controlled 3.5% of the world's landmass, and was finally dissolved in 1923. Number 4 is the United States. Many would argue that the United States is actually the closest any country has ever come to world domination. Today, the United States has military bases on every continent except Antarctica, along with countless puppet governments that take their orders from Washington. In the comments section of part 1 of this video, many of you disagreed on whether the United States qualified as an empire or not. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines an empire as, quote, a group of countries or regions that are controlled by one ruler or government, especially one ruled by an emperor or empress, end quote. While the United States has never had an emperor, it still does qualify under the first part of this definition, as the U.S. over its lifetime has annexed numerous sovereign nations, such as the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and Cuba, which were once part of the Spanish Empire, and the sovereign kingdom of Hawaii. What most people don't know is that the United States reached its maximum extent after the conclusion of the Second World War in 1945, when U.S. occupation forces controlled Western Europe, Japan, Korea, the Caribbean, as well as most of Africa. The American occupation after World War II left the United States with a massive global empire that controlled major population centers, such as the Japanese home islands in Western Europe. This control over billions of people, a majority of the world's industrial base, along with an already mobilized army, gave the United States a chance to embark on a path towards world domination. But instead, the United States chose to release these nations from their direct control and went on to become the global superpower we all know today. And number 3 on our list is the British Empire. While it probably goes without saying, it's important to note that the British Empire was the largest in all of history. In 1922, the British Empire controlled 22.6% of the world's landmass and 20% of the world's population. What made the British Empire unique was its almost unassailable position of power. The British Empire controlled nearly all of the world's trade routes, and simultaneously possessed a nearly unbeatable army and the largest navy in the world. While it's up for debate as to how exactly the British Empire could have achieved world domination in the year 1922, when their empire was at its greatest extent, especially after it had been nearly bankrupted by the First World War, it cannot be denied that had the British Empire had the will, they could have extended their control over even more of the planet, making the British Empire one of the few empires to come within a breath of world domination. Coming in at number 2 is the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire that we all know from history actually came a lot closer to world domination than most people would believe. In fact, at the empire's absolute height in the year 117 AD, the Roman Empire controlled 21% of the entire world's population. During their height, the Romans incorporated most of Europe into their empire and also conquered North Africa, Turkey, and much of the Middle East. Roman armies were the best equipped and the most disciplined armies in the world and boasted extensive experience fighting all the exotic armies that the world threw at them. What brought the Roman Empire closest to world domination was their campaign against the Parthian Empire, which was a Persian state located beyond the Roman Empire's borders. But because the Romans never triumphed over their Persian rivals, despite attempting numerous times, they never were able to achieve true world domination. And number 1 is the ACHAEMENID Empire. More commonly known as the Persian Empire, this empire actually came closer to our definition of world domination than any other empire in human history. In fact, they missed our minimum cutoff by just 6% of the world's population. At the Persian Empire's absolute height, their subjects counted for about 44.48% of the entire Earth's population, meaning that in the year 480 BC, nearly 1 out of every 2 people on the planet was a Persian subject. Unlike other empires on this list, it was entirely feasible that the Persians could have surpassed this number. Instead, however, the Persian Empire had a series of costly wars with the Greek city-states and suffered a string of crushing defeats at crucial moments during their conflicts with the Greeks. Still, the Persian Empire was one of the earliest attempts in human history at a truly multinational empire. After the Persian Empire was dismantled by Alexander the Great, no other empire in history came as close as the Persians did to controlling a majority of the Earth's population. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if we missed any, please let us know down in the comments section, and we'll see you all next time.